check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
What's up, Sean?
What's up?
Yeah, it's Monday. Yesterday was one of those days in the NFL. I could have gone 4-0. I could have gone 0-4. Probably rightfully ended at 2-2. But because I could have won any one of them, I could have lost any one of them. It was just one of those days where it was like anything kind of goes with the picks. Glad to come from behind in 2, and then almost the third one with the Bills, but I don't know. What did I learn? I learned that the coach from the Bills is a little bit, I think, too conservative. What do you think?
Well, I do think when they, it ended up working out, but when they punted that on fourth down, when they were still down like 2 possessions or whatever, I didn't agree with the call, and I definitely thought they would go for it. So, yeah, I do think he needs to be a little bit more. I mean, it ended up ultimately working out.
That's not even the one I'm talking about.
Well, that one I questioned because I really thought they had to go for that one.
One for me was at the end of the game, right? When it's third, it was 4th and 2, I think from the 3-yard line. So they could have gotten a first down still. I don't think it was 4th and goal. So you have a chance to get a first down and then 4 more cracks at the end zone. And I feel like they knew that if they scored, the game was going to overtime, right? If they kicked the field goal.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point in time, it becomes a coin flip, right? Who's going to get the ball? They happened to win the coin flip, but then they lost the game. But I wonder if, in hindsight, the coach wishes he had gone for it on 4th down. Because to me, if you go for it on 4th down, you get the first down, you're probably highly likely to score the touchdown. But you can still score the touchdown on the 4th down, and in which case you're going right there and there on the spot, all or nothing. It's probably 45-55 that you don't get the first down or you don't score. But it's 50-50 that you're going to win in overtime. So for 5%, I would probably have gone for it because the 5% equals 100% versus 50-50 and you don't know.
Yeah, totally agree. And I mean, they could have just rolled Allen out. That play seemed to be working a lot. Roll Allen out, and you can get 2 yards. So, yeah, well, I agree with you.
There's an old adage that old-timers used to live by in the NFL, and that would be if we were ever a coach. So you play for the win on the road, and you play for the tie at home, right? Yep. They're on the road, right? Is a game that they know rightfully they probably had no business winning. And here you probably had a 50-50 chance to win the game if you had just gone for it.
And that part right there, they shouldn't have been in the spot they were. So now that you're playing loose. You know what I mean? You had nothing to lose at that point.
You're playing with house money, right?
Yeah, because who would have ever thought? I mean, crazy the last time Brady lost a lead like that was to Buffalo. So it almost happened again.
Well, I think I said, if I were to coach, I would have definitely 100%. I would have personally gone for it. All right. So what did you learn this weekend, Sean?
Well, I learned, and I was skeptical of this. I was skeptical of that extra wild card and taking the other bye week, but it is definitely going to work. All these games, meaningful games, and they're going to even get more as we go here. It's definitely going to work. And then the added playoff game. I also learned, and, they're both good stories. They both might squeak into the playoffs. I don't know if Washington, but Cincinnati and Washington are frauds. I mean, Washington had no business at all, even being as close as they were.
Unfortunately, I had Tyler Heineke in my fantasy lineup. I could have picked any quarterback. So not only did he suck, but then at the end of the game when they actually started scoring, he was hurt. I think he was like 2 for 14 at one point with 2 turnovers. I had like negative points for a game. Now I was in 6th place, so I had to win that game to get in because it's a 6th, and I lost, so I'm not in there. But my other league, I have a good shot to make it in tonight as long as Kyler Murray doesn't go absolutely insane. Go ahead.
I'll say one other thing I learned to go to you is that Rich sometimes does have luck. Taysom Hill runs to the
once in a while, but that's not
nobody's there. Score a touchdown, and you needed that for your over 23.5. And I just so glad he didn't slide because I just saw him sliding and angry text at that one, but he kept going.
I wouldn't even know, Sean. At that point, I had written that one off already. I was like, oh, this one's over. I thought maybe can they kick a field goal? But and you were rightly pointed out there, too far away. But I did say, to my credit, I just picked the wrong player. I said maybe Kamara pops one and he's gone. Yeah. And it was just the other guy. So because they're all crowding the line of scrimmage trying to get that ball back. But like I said, I felt like I should have been 2-2 yesterday. I ended up 2-2, and so be it. Because I feel like the Bears totally blew that game, right? If Andy Dalton probably wins that game, Sean.
Oh, I don't know about that. No, I don't know about that.
Oh, I don't know, Sean.
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields has no. Let me just make this statement. He has no idea what he's looking at.
There are times. Yes, there are times.
Zero idea what he's looking at. He picks it set up. He has his mind where the ball is going to go, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a baseball player that's made up his mind he's going to swing.
I'll tell you who knew that. Rasul Douglas, because he almost had 2 interceptions for a touchdown. He already had 1. He almost had 2. But Dalton throws those interceptions too, so I don't know how much.
Well, at least Dalton knows where the ball's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Right? To me, and I've said many times, in the NFL, quarterback, the number one thing a quarterback needs to know is how to set his lineup, or how to set his line, right, to get right protection, right blocking scheme. The second thing a quarterback needs to know is who the hell's supposed to get the ball based upon the coverage, right? Everything after that, arm strength, that kind of stuff, arm strength is next in the order because they all have arm strength. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the NFL. Just a varying degree, right? So if you don't know who's supposed to get the ball with these very small windows in the coverage, you're going to end up giving up pick six. That's what pick six quarterbacks do. And he's a little too loose with the ball. Did he fumble twice last night? Right?
Yeah. So another thing on Sunday night, we got to remember this, and I don't know if Green Bay plays anymore on Sunday nights. Maybe they get flexed in. Devontae Adams has caught a touchdown 11 straight primetime games. And then also Aaron Jones always seems to score a touchdown, if not multiple touchdowns on Sunday night.
And the thing is, he's not getting as much playing time as
he's not.
A.J. Dillon.
He's not, and that's why I was nervous.
Makes me wonder if he's hurt.
That, and they're probably saving him a little bit.
I just feel like maybe A.J. Dillon is a little bit more of a power back, and maybe they want to be a little bit more of a powerfully running offense. So let's see, what else did I learn? I do agree with you. Cincinnati still has a way to go, but that offensive line is kind of weak, right? So it needs a little bit of help. I learned that Dak is inaccurate, and much like he is the Cowboys' version of Kirk Cousins, right?
Yeah.
That's who he is.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, I guess he's a little bit better than Cousins. In
what way?
I don't know.
But he's a quarterback that does everything he can do to keep the other team in the game.
Well, that was proven.
Yes, indeed. That's what inaccurate does, for sure. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Of course, let's see. What did he say? The only time I don't bet on the NFL, the teams that were supposed to win. That's true. One underdog won yesterday, actually all week. It was Atlanta over Carolina. And should have they really picked that one?
I did, because should have they really been the underdog against Carolina? I mean, how many more times are they going to start Cam Newton at this point?
Well, did you see him when he scored a touchdown?
For this time? No, I did see he scored the touchdown.
He was mugging for the camera, took off his helmet.
Oh, of course.
I'm back! And then, what the next thing was? The Atlanta Falcons were back in the end zone with one of his passes.
Yeah.
Right?
It's weird because he's another guy, for a couple drives he looks good, and it looks like Atlanta's not going to stop him, and then he just...
He's done. Time to move on, Cam. Find a job selling insurance or be a part of some Honda commercials or something.
Or come to Moneyline Madmen. Hey, we'll take him too.
Yeah, we'll take him. I don't know that I can dress as well as he does in my T-shirts and my golf guaranteed tip sheet hats.
No, we'll leave.
If he comes on, I'll try.
We'll leave the fashion to him.
Yes. All right. Anyway, let's talk about the pro sports tonight, where we have a chance to make some money. Sean, you're the important guy. I see one. Really no significant line movements. Let's just start there. So we'll talk about where the smart money is. But what about injuries? What do you see tonight that might affect the NFL or NBA schedule?
NFL, I didn't really see too much. I know there was a COVID issue, but I don't know who's in and who's out. But I didn't see really any big names listed. I mean, the one I did was Darrell Henderson, but I think he's playing. I think he's in the COVID protocol. I think he is out because I think is he out? Okay,
so I couldn't get official. So I don't know if it's official or not, but I think yesterday I read that he was out. So I think he's out. So if you're doing fantasy football, don't and you have Darrell Henderson in your lineup and you need him to make the playoffs, get him out now.
Yeah, they did have some COVID issues. There's a couple other guys. No huge names though. Basketball, we got Marcus Smart for Boston, game time decision illness. Charlotte, PJ Washington, game time decision illness. Now I know he's not a big name, but he is their sixth man. Plus they do already have a bunch of players out.
And Luka's out too.
Luka's out. That was the next one. His ankle again. He's gonna be out a couple of games. Mm-hmm. Denver has Aaron Gordon and JaMychal Green, game time decisions, and then the Clippers and Suns. You got Paul George, who's doubtful, also game time decision, and you got Phoenix, DeAndre Ayton, game time decision, which is also they're missing Booker already.
Well, I think that there's a good shot that Paul George's not playing it. What I read,
that's what it looked like. Yeah.
Which
Ayton,
could be
I'm not sure.
Where are they going to get their points from if he doesn't play?
Exactly. And then Jimmy Butler's out again.
Jimmy B always out.
Oh, and then another
Time
one.
management, baby.
Another one.
Load
Memphis.
management.
Again, not a huge. Steven Adams is game time decision. They already got a few players out, so you're adding him to it too. So
it says there is an odds boost at plus 1,500 according to Drew, for a touchdown and a field goal in each quarter for the Rams Cardinals game tonight.
That's hard though.
I hope the field goals are all from Arizona, because I do have the Arizona kicker tonight going against Kyle Murray. That should be a fair matchup, but I have a 50-point head start. So, and I need to win by 16 points to go in. So I'm hoping that I don't lose that game. I would probably, you talk about angry texts. It would probably be angry text, smashed phone. So no more texts, Sean.
Oh.
So NFL tonight game is the Rams, Sean, versus the Cardinals. The Rams at this point in time are a 2.5-point underdog, it looks like to me. What do you think about that game?
So, again, this is one of those, the lines don't exactly make sense to me. I don't think...
It's actually moved to 3, so it has moved half a point in the last minute.
Okay, and it was at 2, I believe, earlier. So it is moving in Arizona's direction, which is making more sense. Because when it was at 2, I don't know how at this point right now you say the Rams are a better team than the Cardinals, and that's what that would be saying. So I am going to take the Cardinals giving up 3. I just think the Cardinals are rolling right now. They're getting healthier. The Rams have their, issues, and with Henderson out, I don't know if Michelle's really a starting running back. He's more of a third down guy.
No, he did fine when he was the lead guy in New England. I feel like he just got hurt, and they don't value running backs in the NFL. You want younger, stronger legs, which brings me to a real quick thing next year for fantasy football. I'm not drafting running backs anymore in the first round that have injury history. I'm going to go with the young guy that's in the second or third year. So you look at a guy like Jonathan Taylor this year, kicking ass this year. You look at guys like Christian McCaffrey, hurt. Alvin Kamara, hurt. And you just run down that entire list. I think Joe Mixon's about the only guy that has any sort of veteran status in the NFL that made it through the year.
And he's getting banged up now and sick, and
Right. So next year, I don't care if I draft first. I'm picking Najee Harris from Pittsburgh. He's young. He's on the field all the time, and he's probably not going to get hurt. But anyway, enough of that. You think the Cardinals are going to win? I actually have the Rams covering this, so I can't bet it.
Yeah, I'm going to give up the points. Stafford's struggling too. He's another one. You talk about pick sixes. He's given up a lot of pick sixes. So I think I'm
going to break into a little Sean here right now. But the Rams, this game means everything. For the Cardinals, this game means nothing.
Well, that's not true, because they still got to play for that number 1 seed. And I just talked about how, you only get one bye this year. There's only one team that's going to get that bye, and they need to keep winning to get that.
Well, like I said, I have the Rams covering, but not by enough. It's like a point and a half, somewhere in there. So the Rams lose by the original line, -2, 2.5. And then as far as the total is concerned, Sean, the total at the moment is, I think, 48, if I remember correctly. 58, 50.5. It's kind of starting to creep up a little bit too, but there is a little bit of interesting action in this part of some line movements. The 58% of the tickets, Sean, are on the over in this spot, but 68 cents on the dollar is on the under. So all the smart money here, Sean, is pounding the under. There's a little bit of a mismatch there. So 84% of the money is on the Cardinals, by the way, backing you. I'm on the dumb side of that money. Anything on the total at 50.5?
No, I could see this going either way. I mean, if I had to bet it, I'd probably bet the over, but it's a big game, division game. These division games can go either way. And the Rams offense has not been all that great. But if Stafford's going to give points to the Cardinals on top of the Cardinals already having a really good offense, then you might get to that total. So I'm
Not
wishy-washy.
double dipping on this game tonight. No way. I'm
No.
not even single dipping. I can't. If I'm leaning the Rams, and I'm, probably in my account, I'll do some kind of little stupid thing where I'll a few dollars on what the computer says, but I'm not making it official. I'll probably put, I don't know, $5 same game in game parlay or something with the Rams, the under, and then probably maybe Sony Michel scoring a touchdown or something like that, because you figure he's going to get a 1-yard touchdown and maybe a Kyler Murray running for some yards. Something along those lines. So I would imagine Jalen Ramsey's going to probably mirror wherever you see DeAndre Hopkins. So maybe I'll take the under on Hopkins passing totals, and that would be probably what I might do.
The only thing I say about that is Ramsey really even that much of a shutdown anymore. I mean, when they do attack him, they seem to be able to go after him. There are teams that decide to stay away from him, but a lot of times he's either getting penalized or he is giving up catches. So
yeah, but I see the other side is weaker, so we'll see what happens on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So I'm leaning the Rams. I'm leaning the under. Sean is taking the Cardinals, and he's leaning the over.
Yep.
Yes.
We always are different on the over and under, so that's nothing new.
All right, so off to the NBA, Sean. Real quick, a couple of interesting things in terms of the bets. One of them I find that's interesting is everybody is loving themselves some Golden State Warriors tonight in Indiana, Sean. You have 88% of the tickets and almost 90% of the money back in the Warriors. So the money and the asses match up. I don't know what that means, but it means something. And then when you look at the Milwaukee game versus the Boston Celtics, as you can imagine, most of the tickets, Sean, 3/4 of the tickets are backing Giannis's Bucks, but 63 cents on the dollar backing the Boston Celtics at home. 76ers game against the against Memphis.
Memphis, yep.
Yeah, so 64% of the tickets are on the over, Sean, and we've seen this over and over and over play out again. But 80% of the money is on the under. And finally, in the Hornets and Mavericks game, you have 50-50. The public doesn't know if they want to bet the over or the under. This is the perfect game for Las Vegas because it is 50-50. But 71 cents on the dollar, so the money is backing the over. Looks like they got the line right, but the Sharpies, so to speak, are attacking that line. What do you got in the NBA tonight?
So I am going to take Houston plus 10.5 against Atlanta. Houston still,
you're kind of crazy and stuff.
Oh, well, Houston was playing really well, and then they got blown out by Memphis, but they came back and even covered that one.
In case you forgot English class, is past tense.
Yeah, but they even came back and covered the one against Memphis, so I really like that. And Atlanta's not a team that usually blows out people, so
I was really close to taking Atlanta because I have them covering this. And and all of the data that I'm using primarily for the Houston side includes their really hot streak. And still I have Atlanta winning this game by more than 10.5, 73% of the time.
Wow. The other one I'm going to take here is I'm going to take Cleveland giving up 5.5 to Miami. We talked about the injuries that Miami already had. Jimmy Butler's out again. Cleveland is just rolling. They're the best in the league against the spread, 21-5-2. So I'm going to give up 5.5. I expect Cleveland to roll again.
I had Cleveland in this spot too, Sean, and I am covering by a lot. I wanted to back you here. I really do want to back you, but when I was going through the numbers, there was something about that matchup I didn't like, and what it was that Cleveland's offense, as well as they've played, is not one of the top offenses in the league. In the Miami squad, one thing they can do is play defense. I mean, you think about Miami, and you think about what their team is, what their character is, and it's defense. So on that, I backed off, although I have Cleveland covering this game a lot, 90% of the time, Sean. So I wanted to do it quantitatively. I was going to do it, but when I started to go through the numbers, I said, And one of the things I do, my Excel sheet, my 1,000-game simulations point me to games. And then I look for excuses not to play them, right? Instead of reasons to play them, because I don't want to have confirmation bias, because that'll kill you, right? I want to have contrarian bias. So I found something in there I didn't like, but go ahead and go Cavaliers. I hope you win, Sean.
Yeah, well, and the other thing with Miami, as we mentioned, Bam's out, Butler's out. they've been out. But then you had a role player like Caleb Martin, who's been playing really good, one of the twin brothers, and he's out as well. So they're missing even another role player. So I just feel like they're going to have problems scoring, and Cleveland's not. And then Phoenix Clippers, we talked about the injuries with them. And if Paul George is out, Clippers are going to have a hard time scoring. And Phoenix, I mean, Chris Paul ain't really a scorer, so you might have Ayton out. You already have Booker out. I'm going to go under 211.5 here.
But sometimes I agree with you. I have 211 coming in over under the game coming in under most of the time there, Sean. Sometimes, though, when you don't have those guys in that play defense, Sean,
they score more.
And
I thought of that. The only thing is, I've seen this with the Clippers before. They don't have much depth as far as scoring.
I wonder even how they win as
the only way is if Reggie Jackson. Every now and then, Reggie Jackson gets all really, really hot, and he could drop 30. But if that doesn't happen, I mean, they might even have. And
even
he's not
drops 30. I have a hard time finding another 70.
And not that this guy's really a scorer, but Nicholas Batum's another guy who's questionable tonight, and he's not really a scorer. He can, do the 3-pointer sometimes and score 12 to 15 points, but he's another one who might miss a game. So,
and here's the thing too. I think Phoenix is the deeper team between the two, especially when you account for injuries. So I'm staying off the under because I don't double dip, but I feel like Phoenix only giving up 3 even if Ayton doesn't play, considering if Paul George doesn't play and the depth that Phoenix has, I'm taking Phoenix and I'm laying the 3 on the road. I feel like that number is too light, Sean.
Yeah, and you know what? That was actually my ultimate debate on which one to go with. I settled on the other. This works out good. We'll both take it separate ways.
The thing is, that line's starting to move up already because it's at 4 at some books, 3.5 in other books. I'm still getting a -3 from -10, so I'm on Phoenix. Like I said, I think as it becomes clear that Paul George isn't going to play, that line's going to continue to go up. Any other games in the NBA?
No, that's it. I did lean Charlotte Dallas over, even with Doncic out.
Well, I think actually Doncic being out helps the game go over because if you watch him play, he's slow as hell.
He does slow it down. Yes,
yeah,
when they do a lot more isolation.
When you're this big pudgy dude out there, you can't play fast.
Yeah,
he can play, but he can't play fast.
I leaned it, but I'm going to stay away from it. Too many people out.
I'm betting it, Sean.
Are you doing it?
Because, Dallas can't defend the 3, and Charlotte nails 3s, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like you could probably take Charlotte maybe if you want, although I do have them covering it most of the time as is, even with Doncic in the lineup. But it's just one of those things where I feel like it's going to be a 3 fest, and because Dallas doesn't play defense, Charlotte will hit their 3s, and I feel like there's going to be at least 1 or 2 really substantial quarters in the course of this game where there's a lot of points on the board. Because Doncic is out, so the pace will pick up.
Yeah, and the best part for you is this was the last one that kind of just didn't make it onto my picks, which is usually the one that hits. So,
right, good. Perfect. I'm glad to hear that. All right, anything in college hoops that you like, Sean?
No, I couldn't really find anything in college basketball tonight.
Well, there's really not a lot to go with on there, is there?
No, there's
like
not.
8 games or something like that.
And again, there are no real big colleges, so kind of hard to pick.
I got a couple that I'm going to do. I'm going to do 2 to halftime, Sean. I'm going to take Milwaukee to halftime at home. The line in the game is like 6.5, 7, depending upon which book you're using. You're getting Milwaukee plus 4.5, which is a pretty good number, I think. So you're getting almost the entirety of the 3/4 of the line. And then I'm going to take Portland at home minus 2.5 to the half. Both of them were both minus 110. And that game is minus 4, Sean. So, or 4.5, depending upon where you're looking at it. So I am a little bit overweighted in the first half, but I feel like Milwaukee at home, Portland at home, they should come out ready to play. It's their home place. Ready to, they usually come out a little bit more jacked up in the first half. Then you get time to sit around the locker room and bitch and moan about things that didn't go right, and the referee not making calls, stuff like that. But I feel like those 2 games, I'm getting some value to halftime, so I'm going to go ahead and roll with those.
Sounds good. Going a different way on the first half, going the favorite.
Sean, Drew's going to put 20 on that. Hey, that's a good idea.
So the only thing I'll say is when you do a boost like that,
they know it's not going to happen. That's
not only that.
They know.
Not that, but
they know.
It's surprising, Drew, when you watch tonight how fast that quarter goes, knowing you need a touchdown and a field goal. how
they
hard
know it's not going to happen, Sean.
how hard it is. Plus that plus $1,500.
Plus they know it's not going to happen, Sean.
Yeah.
Why do you think I can tell you what, Drew, if I had taken it, you're going to lose for sure. Because every single time I do one of those boosts, what happens?
Yeah, then
I come back to Sean. I'm like, they knew. They absolutely knew. Right?
Yeah. So. Hey, but if he wins, $300 right there. So
not a bad deal right there at all, for sure. All right, Sean, any final thoughts before we get up and out of here on this Monday, the 13th of December? We got 12 days left of Christmas, Sean. All right, let's see. Hooligan fans in American football. Does that exist? Like, well, yeah, the Rams fans. If you can see what it is about California, but every time you see one of these things where there's fans beating somebody up, it's either in San Francisco or Los Angeles. And you wouldn't think that, but we don't.
I don't know. Nowadays, I see it everywhere.
Yeah,
you see videos Monday, and it's just crazy.
But it's not like Europe where they're like just like a roving band going through the streets drunkenly singing, beating the hell out of random people. It's in the stands between people who don't like each other. I even saw one the other day of some girl. Did you see this one, Sean? At the concession stand where the girl jumps over the concession stand and beat the hell out of the girl. Oh, yeah. It was pretty funny.
Where did this happen at?
I think it happened in Dallas.
Wow.
Maybe we should do that. Yeah, second best league in the world, much better than the college league. Yeah, and that United States Summer League. What do you think about basketball league? Maybe. The Summer League, it's tough to say, but that gap is closing pretty fast, I feel like, because you see that when they play in the Olympics, right? The U.S. isn't as dominant as it has been, although it still is the team to beat year in and year out. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that our game is changing a lot over here. I feel like the Europeans still play a little bit more team basketball, and they're not afraid to go to the rim because of the way the rules are set up for international basketball. Whereas over here, we're just casting threes constantly, right? Mm-hmm. It's just brick, 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 brick. And if we're hot, we're hard to beat. But if we're not, it looks terrible.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, it visually looks terrible.
Yeah.
Like I said, some of these basketball games are borderline unwatchable when teams I don't know, Sean. I can't understand for the life of me how an NBA team, right, supposedly the best basketball players in the world, scores 10, 12 points in a quarter. And it happens to one team at least almost every single night. And how can that be?
I don't know. And you know what? A lot of times, speaking of that, a lot of times if you look at it, the fourth quarter is when those happen. A lot of times when
it happens all across the board, Sean. Because
I know it does, but
I'm usually the one playing totals. You usually play so I'm watching the totals a little bit more than the game score. And I'm telling you right now, any game that I bet the over on, you can pick that in one quarter, one of the teams will score 20 points or less, and it will happen.
Yeah, I know. But I was a lot of times in the fourth quarter, especially when the team blows the game, that's what they do. They score 12, 14. I mean, Cleveland almost did it the other night against Sacramento.
But how?
They had 105 points through three quarters, and they might have scored 15 points in the fourth quarter, and 8 of them came in the last 3 minutes or something like it was bad.
Well, that's because if you watch the games, what do you see? You see every pass is kicked out to the 3-point line, and guys are casting threes. And if they miss their threes, it's over. I saw a team the other night was like 2 for 26 or something shooting threes. How can you can't win like that?
It's equivalent to what baseball is anymore when you get a runner on second and you don't get that guy home. And it's the same thing. You're going for the home run.
I know it's just metrics. It's math, but the math, what you see, like, so you have the metrics, the computer models, but at saying what you see, you don't see, right? But what your eyes are lying to you, but the numbers aren't. I see what's going on, and I feel like if there's a team out there that has a player that's not afraid to take it to the basket pretty aggressively, that kid can actually, be a superstar because not a lot of players are doing that. I mean, I see Doncic all in his fat self dribbling the ball, right? Real slow into the corner, and I shouldn't be making fun of fat people, but nonetheless, I see him like one-legged, like on the off leg too, right? Shooting fadeaway threes. I see Big Cat, 7-footer from Kentucky. I couldn't imagine when I was a kid, a 7-footer out 20 feet from the basket, 23
I would have
feet from the basket.
laughed at him and left him go.
But not just shooting them, but fading away 3-pointers. It's like, what are you doing? First of all, you're 7 foot. No one's going to block your shot. So just keep your form and shoot. But anyway, we're on.
So on my last thought is start checking the NFL schedules and stuff too. You got the next 2 weeks. You got 2 games on Saturdays as well. So Cleveland and Indianapolis both play their next 2 games on Saturday. So I did see Kareem Hunt's looking like he might be out Saturday just with a shorter week. So injuries might play a bigger thing with that as well.
We'll find out. All right, Sean. Real quick, recap what you have, and then we'll call it a Monday.
Okay, so I got Houston plus 10.5 at Atlanta. The under in Phoenix Clippers to 11.5. Cleveland giving up 5.5 to Miami, and Arizona in the NFL game giving up 3 against the Rams.
Ooh, I can't bet the NFL game. I have the over in the Charlotte game with Dallas. I have the LA Clippers, not the Clippers. I have the Phoenix Suns laying 3. And I'm taking Milwaukee in college basketball plus 4 points to the half. And then I'm taking Portland minus 2.5 to the half. Both of those are in college basketball. If I were going to play it, I would lean the Rams and I would lean the under. Sean and I are polar opposites, but it's going to be close. That just tells you how close this game is.
And we tie the day with 4 bets each. And you decided to play Milwaukee and Portland in college basketball.
But not in NBA. All right, Sean. That's it for Monday, as always, folks. If you like what you saw, please, as you see on the scroll below, follow us on Facebook or Twitter. It's the same handle at Moneyline Madmen. And on YouTube, subscribe. Give us a thumbs up so that we can move up the algorithms. And hopefully every single one of our picks, Sean, is a winner and stuffs some cash, as Carl Broberg says, into your pocket. Any final thoughts?
That's it. Let's get that cash.
Let's get that cash. Everybody have a fantastic Monday night. We'll see you maybe tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.